Review right here, and I'm going to insert a disclaimer before we start. Yes, I have done a list like this before, but that was called Underestimated Games, but the same rules apply. So here are 10 more games that are actually pretty darn good, but didn't seem to get the praise that they deserved. Anyway, hit it! Viscera cleanup detail. A massive battle has taken place. Blood, bodies, gore and debris fills the facility before you. Total carnage is on the agenda. But unfortunately you've missed the party. Instead, it'll be your job as a janitor to clean up the mess before you and clock out in time for when the owner arrives. This game's premise is so stupid that it's fucking great. My favourite one has to be the Shadow Warrior one, where you clean up the mess you made during one of the levels in the first remake. In fact, this could be the ultimate game to play whilst drunk. I know I've played it pissed many a time. But it amazes me that this franchise isn't well known enough. Most of us might have heard the name, but have never experienced it. And you've got to hand it to the devs, because they've somehow made cleaning up mess fun. Creatures 3! Now, bear with me on this one, because I imagine that some of you have taken one look at what's on the screen right now and have gone, what the fuck? But I wasn't expecting this game to be so in-depth and as detailed as it is. The Creatures franchise is now dead, but back in the late 1990s, it was still pretty underground now that I think about it. If you're not familiar with it, it's a game that gets you to raise, educate and protect a colony of aliens called Norns, who all have the intellectual capacity of a bacon sandwich. So yeah, you'll be hand-holding them the entire time. You'll have to feed them, teach them how to act socially and not beat their fellow Norns to death, because that does happen, teach them how to talk, keep them protected from other aliens who either want to kill them or nick all of their shit, and finally, you'll have to treat them medically if they get ill. Now, this is all well and good for someone who just wants to look after cute things, but I found a totally different side of this game that's so underrated that you should all play this one. You can experiment on them using chemicals, and you can tinker with their genetics. You can change their genetic coding to change how strong they are, what they are or are not immune to. I even discovered how to make them immortal, no joke. This game is so underrated and unheard of that it's a shame considering what this game allows you to do, and how in-depth and interesting the science involved is, as well as the ethical implications. But failing that, you can just kill your creatures off in horrible and imaginative ways, such as dumping them in a piranha pit, or shooting them out of the airlock into space. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines. A pretty famous game, hence why it's low on the list, but this one has an underground cult following, and unfortunately that's where its fame ends. Yes, this game is so riddled with bugs I'm considering taking it down to the tip, but if you can look past its poor optimization and shit combat, then there's a gem of a game waiting for you to experience. Tons and tons of interesting lore, loads of customizable options, side quests hidden about the place, that one really messed up haunted mansion level that no one saw coming, and vampire powers. Vampire powers, for fuck's sake! I mean, come on! This is a title that a lot of people have heard of, or maybe have played it a little bit, but we've all totally forgotten that this game is boss shit, yo.
Lane Goodman.
DreadOut! I was quite surprised to find out that many people didn't like this one. Why? Yeah, okay, it's not 10 out of 10, but Jesus Christ, it's so damn freaky. I like to think that I'm a horror connoisseur. I love my horror games, and I'm always on the lookout for new and terrifying games, and when I came to play DreadOut, I was not disappointed. I know that it wasn't as good as the first 3 Fatal Frames, but you've got to take into account that this game was made by a small, completely unknown Indonesian indie team, and they managed to deliver something that I don't think any of us were expecting. This game gets horror, and nowadays, that's quite the achievement. But unfortunately, this one didn't stay in the spotlight for long. It's gonna go down as another White Day, but without that fucking janitor constantly chasing you around. And by that I mean, another good horror title that we're all gonna forget about until 10 years down the line when someone goes, hey, I just found a game in my library and I can't remember playing it. And then they'll play it and it'll take off again, and I'll be the only one going, I told you Muppets this would happen 10 years ago. Don't believe me? Look up a video called Top 10 Underrated Games 2. This pisses me off. Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga. If you like Persona 3, then you've probably already played this. It's by the same guys, but it's a bit more fucked up. You know, because Persona 3 wasn't fucked up enough. Well, you and your team are a part of one of several factions that are trying to murder the fuck out of each other for dominance over the region. However, you've all got an advantage, because as it turns out, you can transform into hideous monsters and can eat your enemies to gain their power. Okay, it sounds shit when I put it like that, but imagine a much darker version of Final Fantasy X, where you can morph into powerful creatures, and the emphasis is on, what the fuck is happening to me, instead of, how do we rid the world of sin that's totally not a metaphor. This one throws a stupid gimmick at you, but then surprisingly manages to turn it into something good and interesting. The world is filled with loads of lore and backstory, with each faction having their own history, and you'll be spending most of your time wondering how you've been cursed with this power, and how do I get rid of it. It's an interesting and engaging game that not enough people seem to know about, so here it is at number 6. SOMA! Don't get me wrong, SOMA was praised upon release, but then we all forgot about it. And that's such a shame because SOMA tells one of the best stories in the survival horror genre. Not the best, mind you, there are others that do it better, but SOMA was very good at it. You've been diagnosed with a rare degenerative neurological disease and your time is almost up. But as it turns out, there's a new experimental treatment that's being tested and you've been asked if you'd like to go for it. But soon after the procedure starts, you suddenly find yourself trapped in a research base on the ocean floor. I don't want to give anything away because the game's plots will A, blow your mind, and B, it really hits you in the morals plus feelings at times, but I honestly felt that this one's story was so powerful that I'm actually angry that not enough people were playing this game. It's by the same guys as Amnesia: The Dark Descent, but it's not as scary, but please, if you haven't played this one yet, then go out and get it. It is most certainly worth your time. Arx Fatalis! This is a very in-depth and enjoyable game that, for reasons unknown, somehow power slid under the radar. Have you ever played a game called Dishonored? Of course you have or have not, depending on your taste in video games / financial situation. Well, you've definitely heard of it, but their devs did other games before that, including the weird, crap, and yet strangely enjoyable Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. But their first game was Arx Fatalis. How to describe this one? Have you ever played Dungeon Keeper 2? Well, imagine that, but played as if you were possessing a warlock. The entire game is set underground because the surface is too hot for you to live on. You've got swords, bows, spells, spears...
bricks, bats, axes, knives...
Any pistols?
No pistols.
It's got an interesting story and a very intriguing atmosphere that makes you want to explore f***ing everywhere to see if there's any cool shit, or if goblins are holding hot babes hostage for some reason. And much in the same way as the Half-Life franchise, the more you pay attention to it, the more you realise, shit son, this game is actually pretty deep. Sorry, that wasn't meant to be a pun. Valkyria Chronicles! Valkyria Chronicles is a game that I was expecting to not enjoy and ended up loving almost every second of it. The endgame boss drop-kicked and then violently shift to the side, this game was one of the most nail-biting and intense JRPGs I've ever played. It's also one of the most strategic JRPGs I've ever played as well. Yeah, there are stats and shit, but like I said in my rant on this one, careful planning and strategic executions are what's going to win the match. Sure, you can grind for several lunar phases if you really want to, but why do that when you can use that really small, often unused and dying from neglect organ that's located in your head to formulate some genius plan and win the battle in the most exciting and psychotic way possible? But the problem with this game, however, is that most people will take one look at the box art and go, oh no. I don't like anime because it's for kids and fags and kids who are fags and kids who smoke fags and etc, etc. You get the picture. Well, all I'm going to say is that those people are missing out. Sure, you'll play Final Fantasy 13, but you won't play this. Honestly. The Longest Journey! If you haven't got the hint by now that True of you loves this game and probably wants to have sex with it and think that you should too, then you certainly do now. But it kills me that this game is so unknown in the gaming community. Yes, I know it looks like it's being played on a broken PS1, but look past that, will you? I don't really know if there's anything I can add to this that I haven't already said, so I'm just going to talk about why I think not many people have heard of it. It was made by a relatively unknown company, it wasn't really advertised a lot, and it still isn't. I mean, people have heard of Dreamfall and Dreamfall chapters, and they were good, don't get me wrong, but it's the writing that excels in those games, and The Longest Journey completely nailed it in terms of writing. I'd put it up there alongside Grim Fandango and possibly The Secret of Monkey Island. It's not a comedy game, though there is plenty of wit in it, but it's more along the lines of an epic tale with a very non-epic heroine. Even though it looks terrible, you'll remember pretty much everything that happens, because everything is meaningful here. It's a goddamn great game, and it's a goddamn great shame that not enough people out there have played this one. Freedom Wars! And finally, we have a game that might not be the best on this list, but holy shit! It's such an atmospheric experience with a fantastic plot and great gameplay, and yet this one is practically never talked about. I mentioned this one a little while ago, so I won't cover the plot this time. However, I will talk about what the gameplay is like. Imagine Just Cause 3 meets a scaled down version of Shadow of the Colossus. Got that image in your head? Because here comes the next part. That's set in a prison. And they're running it like it was George Orwell's 1984. I'm not making this up, that's literally what it's like. It's basically the Japanese version of Broforce, but with better graphics. Well, it's not, but that's how I see it. And yet no one talks about this game, and I think I know why. It was a Vita exclusive and was primarily well received in Japan, but not really noticed that much outside of Japan. You can get it subbed and that's all fine, but it's one of those games you have to actively go out and look for if you're trying to find it. And why would you go out searching for a game that you don't know exists? There's a paradox in there somewhere, but regardless, I'm gonna have to give the #1 entry to Freedom Wars, and I take no pleasure in doing so. And we're out of time once again, but if you're like a Japanese version of Broforce but with better graphics, then like this video and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to check out Twitter and Patreon for all of the usual shit, and I'll be back next time with another video. See ya!